Accessing any layer of the internet, from the public surface web to your private accounts, requires a highly specific vehicle to navigate the landscape. That vehicle is the operating system. Despite the scale of the web, this global infrastructure is managed by a concentrated group of providers: Microsoft, Apple, and Google. Apple secures its position through a walled garden strategy. By controlling both the physical silicon and the software that runs on it, they dictate the exact requirements for any code seeking entry into their ecosystem. This integration allows Apple to enforce strict administrative rules over third-party software. Through app tracking transparency, the OS functions as a mandatory checkpoint, requiring apps to secure your permission before they are allowed to collect or share your behavioral data with advertisers. By acting as the arbiter of what can be installed and what can be tracked, the operating system performs the role of a digital border, defining the laws of your interaction with the outside world. But these borders are not entirely neutral. If a corporation or an entire country is blocked from these dominant platforms by global sanctions, what happens to their connectivity? Exile from these systems results in the immediate loss of the foundational code and global app ecosystems that facilitate modern banking, commerce, and communication. Recovering from this isolation requires more than just launching a new storefront. A sanctioned entity must engineer an entirely new foundational architecture to fill the vacuum left by the departing monopoly. This forced departure presents a binary choice: remain dependent on foreign technology that can be deactivated remotely, or declare digital sovereignty. The technical ability for an OS to enforce these borders originates with the grandfather of modern computing architectures, Unix. Modern digital security relies on the Unix file permission model, categorizing every user and file into 3 buckets: owner, group, and everyone else, blocks unauthorized access. Chrome OS expands this through sandboxing. Trapping applications in isolated environments ensures malicious code remains physically separated from critical data. Apple employs a similar logic for its own ecosystem, building its closed architecture on a secure Unix-certified core known as Darwin. Whether through file permissions or process sandboxing, the primary engineering objective of a modern OS is to maintain security through strict isolation. Huawei faced an existential crisis when it was cut off from Western software platforms. Their response was the development of Harmony OS. This wasn't designed as a simple mobile interface. Huawei engineered a super device architecture designed to unify hardware across a decentralized network. The core is a microkernel. Stripping away legacy code minimizes overhead, reducing latency and hardening the core against exploits. A distributed file system then integrates disparate hardware. Phone, tablet, and smart TVs stop acting as isolated machines, merging into a single operational unit. This creates an environment with sub-20 millisecond latency. A smart TV can utilize the high-resolution camera of a smartphone across the room for a video call, treating the remote hardware as if it were a local component. This movement toward independent architecture is expanding. Platforms like Titan OS utilize lean Linux backends to offer localized content and privacy without relying on the data tracking models used by Silicon Valley. By utilizing a microkernel built from the ground up, a sanctioned entity can establish a resilient digital infrastructure that operates independently of foreign software blocks. The operating system today acts as the administrative gatekeeper for global digital access. We have seen 3 distinct approaches to this control: Apple's closed walled garden, Chrome's isolated sandboxes, and the distributed microkernel architecture of Harmony OS. These architectures are the codes that govern what you see, who is allowed to monitor your behavior, and which businesses are permitted to function within a specific market. As the global technology landscape fractures under the weight of trade wars and sanctions, power is concentrating in the underlying infrastructure of the machine. These invisible digital borders now hold the power to decide which technologies are permitted to communicate and which are silenced entirely.